Start today with major news. Harvard University president Claudine Gay is quitting under fire. In a statement, she said, quote, "It has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual." This comes after 6 new allegations of plagiarism against Gay, covering a published work and more of her dissertation. The Washington Free Beacon first reported this news. Calls for Gay's resignation started after her controversial congressional testimony, where she failed to say if calling for the genocide of Jews was a violation of the university's bullying and harassment code. So joining us to discuss with the panel is Eliana Johnson. You may remember Eliana as a moderator of our NewsNation Republican candidate debate. She's also the editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon. And Eliana, it is great to see you here with us tonight. Tell me, what has the Washington Free Beacon uncovered that led to this startling resignation today?
The Beacon ran 2 big reports, the first in mid-December and the second last night, revealing her extensive pattern of plagiarism in her rather limited academic work. She only has 17 publications, which compared to some of her predecessors in the presidency of Harvard is a pretty slim record of publication. And we revealed last night 6 more allegations of plagiarism that extend into an 1/8 of her major articles. And while the Harvard Corporation said in mid-December, that's the governing body of the university, that it stood unanimously behind her, it appears that they realized that, plagiarists are sort of like people who commit sexual harassment. It doesn't happen just once, that this drip of findings and allegations was going to continue and was just going to be unsustainable for the university.
Right, and a lot of critics of Harvard said there was a double standard. The students would have been thrown out easily if they had met the threshold that was met by President Gay. 2 tweets I want to put up on the screen here. Elise Stefanik, of course, she is the Republican member, House Republican member from upstate New York. She's been vocally critical of those college presidents. She says, 2 down. Harvard knows that this long overdue forced resignation of the anti-Semitic plagiarist president is just the beginning of what will be the greatest scandal of any college or university in history. That 2 down is a reference to the fact that the president of the University of Pennsylvania, who was also on that House panel, who also gave sort of evasive answers on this question of genocide and Israel, she had quit some weeks ago after that very controversial testimony. Then there's Bill Ackman, a prominent alum of Harvard, a very wealthy financial hedge fund manager, simply tweeting, "Et tu, Sally?" A reference to Shakespeare and Julius Caesar, I guess. So what's next? It would appear that Elise Stefanik is not done here.
No, she certainly is seeking the resignations of all 3 of the college presidents who appeared on that panel before her. And certainly, I think that House hearing, which cast a national spotlight on those 3 leaders, led to a lot of scrutiny and raised questions in the minds of Americans. Who are the leaders of these incredibly influential American institutions, and how are they being governed? And I think for Harvard, I wouldn't say they're quite done yet. I think the Harvard Corporation, the governing body of that school, really mismanaged this scandal in that they hired a top-notch defamation lawyer to threaten the New York Post out of running a story about these plagiarism allegations. They claimed to have conducted a thorough review into these allegations and said that it cleared her. So I think questions remain about how Claudine Gay's bosses on the Harvard Corporation, who are titans of business, academia, law, manage that scandal. And the school still needs to answer for people who have not yet lost their jobs at that university.
All right, Eliana Johnson, thank you very much. And for the
Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.